the legend himself. Can you hear me?
How are you? Yeah, I can hear you. Is my mic okay?
Yeah, but mic's perfect. I'm just increasing the volume a little bit for the people that are listening through the stream.
How is it now?
Yes, it's perfect, man. This is perfect. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How's your stream going?
Really good. Had some technical issues and difficulties as I expected already before and here and there, just now, because we're switching from like different scenes, different studios, different cameras, different mics. So it's a lot to watch all the time. But I must say that so far it's been a lot of fun. It's been great. Yeah, I think the people are enjoying it. I think we are 6.5 hours in, if I'm correct. So like 5.5, or wait, no, I think I'm 5.5 hours in. So 6.5 hours more to go. And now once again, a very special guest on the stream, my friends. I'm doing great. What about yourself?
Thank you. I'm doing great. I could just have you a stream link so I could read it out.
Yeah, of course. I'm quickly going to send it to you. Really appreciate that. And then we can give everyone some time to join. Quickly going to send it to you. Like this should be the stream.
Okay. 1 minute.
I'm also quickly going to make a tweet. Ooh, Crypto Coleman has donated $35.
Keep up the great work, guys. Greetings from Bard and Ilko, aka the Unpackers.
These are the legends. The Unpackers legends. My two favorite boomers just donated $35. Absolute legends. Guys, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the $35 and just for the support in general coming from the YouTube. Really appreciate you guys. So thank you so much. And I'll speak to you guys soon. Alright, my friend. I also made a tweet. So everything should be up and running.
Give it like 2 minutes. I think at least 50 more people will tune in.
Yeah, no worries at all, man. Let's take it slow and steady. I got plenty of time. Alright. Yeah, there's a bunch of people joining. We love to see it. Almost closing in on the 2K raised. And I'm actually about to let me actually make another donation beam quickly of $1,000 on behalf of Bybit. I need to quickly do that. I will do it for them.
For which charity are you raising money?
It's called the Footprints Foundation, and it's a charity in South Africa where they are helping orphanages.
And you're gonna go there yourself?
Yeah.
Or are you...
Yeah, also going there myself.
Oh, that's nice.
1 second, brother. Just doing the donation quickly. So yeah, I'm also going there myself actually. So I'm going to South Africa for 2 or 3 months in 2026 during January, February, and maybe in March as well. And the charity is mainly based in Johannesburg. And I'll fly out from 1 second. Just doing the donation. Very bad at multitasking.
No problem.
And I'll fly out from Cape Town to Joburg to visit the foundation, visit the charity. Via I know the owner and the founder of the charity, so I know that they are in good hands. You know, that's the thing with a lot of charities, where people at the top earn the most money, and that to me is just something that I really don't like myself. So I try to find a charity that was different, I would say. So I'm very, very happy that we found one. And I just made another $1,000 donation on behalf of Bybit and Miet. So right now we have surpassed the $2,700 already. Bybit, absolute legends. Really appreciate you. Miet, I don't know if you're still watching or if anyone of Bybit is watching. Thank you guys so much for the $1,000. It's much appreciated. Bybit are big players indeed, and they're a bunch of legends. All right. Once last thing that I need to note down, Beam, and then we can finally start.
Sure.
Okay, there we go. My friend, so excited to have you on stream. So first of all, thank you for taking your time. And second of all, maybe for the people that don't know you yet, would you maybe like to introduce yourself, where you are from, how long you've been trading, and what you are up to? For the people I obviously know already, but for the people that don't know you yet, I think they would love to get a bit of an introduction before we hop into some analysis and the charts and whatnot, including myself.
Sure. Hey chat, I think most of the people in chat are already from my own, but if there's more people from your stream, I think they were for 30-40 before. I'm Beam. My real name is Ahmed, and I'm from Pakistan. I've been a day trader for the past 4 years, but before trading, I've been doing a lot of hustling online, all the way from the time when I was just 16 years old. So raising capital, then I came into trading, and then I started day trading. It was really tough at the beginning, but then things started to work out, and I made money more than I actually intended to make, a lot more than I intended to make. And nowadays, I just trade less. I just focus trading on BTC, less altcoins, and I mostly travel while trading, living the life that any person with money would want to finally live. That is traveling and trading at the same time.
Cool. Yeah, I think for most people, that's the ultimate reason why we got into trading, you know, and why most people get into trading. And you say that it was very hard, which is also a thing that I can
Yeah, the
definitely
first
agree
year
on.
was extremely painful. There's tons of sleepless nights because of the drawdown, continuous failures. But it works out. The more you stay here, and if you're working on your mistakes, it works out.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And what would you say was there like a aha moment for you?
The hardest moment would be my liquidations because when I started, the capital I had was through the capital I had raised from online selling on the years back. I was mainly doing foreign online selling. So that's all the capital I had, and I did face liquidations while I was doing futures at that time. I did quit futures last year in maybe 2 years back in October 2023, and since then I've been doing spot. But while I was doing futures in the beginning, there was lots of liquidations. Even those liquidations are on my own timeline. And if you just type in on Twitter crypto being liquidated, you could come up with more those tweets where I was liquidated, and I'm just doing my journaling that I got liquidated today. I only have a little bit of money left, but I'm not quitting. That was the hardest time.
Yeah. And how did you make the switch from getting liquidated and being unprofitable to being profitable?
Okay, so the liquidations were obviously my own mistakes, but the people also know, and the people in my server, when they asked me for tips, one thing I told them that I was not magically born a really good trader that just like, flipped capital, got liquidated, flipped capital, again got liquidated, flipped capital. It's not that way. I had good analysis online. I had good reputation online. So monetizing that was a key factor in my overall success. So that early capital that came from was through monetization of my channels, whether it was Discord, whether it was Twitter, and even later in the first year of my career over there, I did not know how the affiliate commissions with these exchanges even work. Being in other servers, I got to know these things. When I got to know all of these things, slowly by slowly, this capital that came from other sources started to collect back in my account. And while I was trading, I was improving my mistakes. And this capital then helped me flip it further because after that, I was not making those same dumb mistakes again. And I had the continuous inflow of capital to be compounding on my own positions.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. So it was a matter of gaining knowledge, and did you also improve anything or change anything about the way that you were trading in your trading system, in your technical analysis, or did you stick to that but just change the way that you looked at risk management, compounding, and that kind of stuff?
Two major things that I would change was obviously first one was risk management, but the second one was the entire way of trading. I was entirely focused on patterns, just like every other beginner, and a simple support and resistance. That still works. But the only thing that I incorporated into all of that was supply and demand concepts. Everybody has a school of thought in their own trading strategies. Some use supply and demand, some use smart money concepts. It's all a mix of the other, and some even go through those, we call those harmonic patterns. Some people even use that, which never made sense to me because it was so difficult to understand. But for me, supply and demand started to work because the whole world, I knew this thing that the whole world works on the basis of supply and demand.
Yeah.
If there's less supply, then there's going to be more demand and vice versa. If I'm saying that correctly, sorry.
Yeah.
But so I just started applying the same thing into trading. I would just look for places of demand and then target the nearest supply, because that supply would be nearest point for selling point of interest for the buyers that were in from the demand, and just repeated, and then just compounding my portfolio with the risk management.
Yeah, interesting. And when you look at supply and demand, is there for you also a difference? Because, for example, when I look at supply and demand, a lot of people think that supply and demand is as easy as marking out the last red candle before a move up or the last green candle before a move down. Are there for you also differences between high probability and strong demand and supply areas and low probability and weak supply and demand areas? If you see what I'm aiming at?
Yeah, so with the time, as time went on and I started journaling my trades, I came to know that there was a demand throughout an uptrend. For example, there was demand created throughout an uptrend. I was trying to bid it. But the problem that came from getting stopped down in some positions was that the demand I targeted was not laying at the point of the higher low. So in the trend, there are higher lows. So the demand that I was targeting first in the higher low would get stopped out because that demand was not placed on the higher low. So what I did was then I was spot the higher low first, mark out the higher lows, and then start to look for the demand zones. Match both of them, and if I want a third confirmation, that would be a key level from one of those indicators, basement BTC key levels. And then this way I would have 3 confirmations. The first 2 would be enough, but 3 would be good if it makes sense, and that would give me the highest probability setup. And the stop loss in that case would go below the previous higher low from the one I was targeting. So in that case, when it gets stops out, the whole trend shifts. So it becomes easy to change bias in that structure as well.
Yeah, so you have a very clean and clear invalidation for your thesis, basically.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Would you maybe mind sharing your screen with us and giving your views and analysis on Bitcoin, and maybe also explain a little bit more about supply and demand for the people that
Sure.
Awesome. Okay, I'm quickly opening up your stream. Yes, everyone should be able to see it, and everyone.
So we were talking about supply and demand. So this is the hype trade that I just gave in the server in the morning. It got filled. So in this trend, we have the low here, we have a higher low here, we have a higher low here. Okay. So from the perspective that I was talking about, that the higher low is important in identifying demand and where you get stopped out. A lot of people in my server were also asking me, why are you not bidding this area? This is also demand zone over here. But the simple reason for not bidding this demand instead of this demand was because of this higher low structure. So you have a low here, you have a higher low over here, you have a higher low over here. This is the key point that needs to defend for the market structure. So when you bid over here, what you do is you place your stop loss over here, or you either place your stop loss over here. You get wicked out in this position, you get wicked out in this position. You have to think in hindsight bias. So when you have the structure over here, you consider this as a sell side liquidity instead, and then you target the demand below, and you even take this as the range low, deviation, reclaim, retest, and continuation pattern trade over here. So that's the simple piece that I was trying to explain with how you bid demand inside a trend.
Yeah, it's also, I often call it an inducement. Without an inducement, supply and demand, or just support resistance in general, are completely irrelevant, because you want to use that you want to use the liquidity of those inducements, because that's the liquidity that smart money will use to fill their orders. And if there's no liquidity present, aka that higher low that you want to sweep or that lower high that you want to sweep above or below the supply or demand, how are they going to fill the orders? It's impossible without enough liquidity present. So it's also impossible to get a sustainable reversal of price. And that is why that inducement, like you just said, is so important, always. Without an inducement, supply or demand or support or resistance, whatever you want to call it, is completely irrelevant.
Correct.
I fully agree. I really like that.
I'll just do BTC quickly because you asked.
Yeah, I would love to get your view, also on a higher time frame, maybe.
We'll start with the weekly. There's two key levels on the weekly from here. This is not the weekly. This is actually the only weekly level that I am concerned about, which is 1 rounded off 12,000. Okay, so weekly close. Obviously, this is the SR. This is also the first all-time high in this trend. Weekly close below this is extremely bad. You just need to be on the weekly chart, and you can see this double top, weekly continuous bearish structure, weekly breakup structure over here on the weekly. And then if the weekly closes in 2 days below, you obviously accept back below this prior all-time high range. And then you have a range from here all the way towards here, because this is a higher time deviation. And then you just chop around and fall towards 102K. Okay, this is just on the weekly. Now I'll just go straight to the daily. On the daily, I had this 109K level marked from all the way over here on Twitter, the thread that followed all towards this downtrend. There was a long opportunity from here to here, but I did not take it. Personally, I was struggling with a losing streak, so I just tried not to overtrade more and go on a bigger losing streak. But had my worst months of my career this month, so I just avoided this one. Yeah, so this area is a big resistance. Once you have the weekly close, if let's say the weekly close is above, it still manages to reclaim, you still need to reclaim 114.7K, because this entire thing is the supply inducement is already over there. You get the first break on the reclaim here, but your confirmation is going to be a reclaim of this level because it arises from here, this SR flip right here. Once you go above this, yeah, you can target all-time high again. But as long as personally, in my own personal biased opinion, we are not going to be able to reclaim this level, and we are going to stay drop below this because September is historically bearish and difficult to trade. We're going to stay below this level and target 102.7K. That's my plan. And this was the NPOC bounce with the order block here at 109K. Once we lose this NPOC at the low, we just fall. You just go slow chop, slow chop, slow chop. Would be looking for shots.
Okay, awesome. You were also saying that you were struggling with one of the worst performing months in your career, and how do you deal with that?
Okay, so I had the start of this month, I was not here, I was in Thailand. So it started off with a couple of front runs. The both were 4-hour setups. So I think it was CFX and the other coin name I do not remember, but they just got a front run like this in a little bit of one on the entry and the second one on the TP like this. So both setups combined lost me 8R, which was potentially 8R.
Yeah.
After that, I had those smaller trades, 0.5R, 0.4R, like that. But then came the losing streak, and these were 3 losses in a row, so negative 3R. After that, I spent a whole week getting this back. I got to break even. I did even go to a little bit positive towards +1 with the more smaller trades like 0.5R, 0.4R wins, because the market was still, in this entire days, the market has been really choppy. So you have not been able to catch any swing trades that can generate extremely high RR. And I'm personally not really good on the 5-minute chart that I would be taking those 5-minute scalps and easily making 5R, 4R setups like the other people on Twitter.
So unlike the people on Twitter, indeed, apparently, supposedly.
Yeah. So from here, I had the losing streak again, and then I went negative 2R, and then I bounced back, and then now I'm sitting. I haven't taken any trades in the server on the official channels, and I'm sitting at negative 1.5. I'm not looking to force things because negative 1.5 or negative 1.5% for 1% value is not really much. But still having 70,000 followers, having almost less than 1,000 VIPs in the
one second,
Discord.
I'm so sorry, I'm going to interrupt you because there's a $200 donation. So sorry. 2 legends, the founders of the only prop firm that I would ever recommend to people, because I'm not a major prop firm fan, but this prop firm is very, very good, and they are very, very close friends of mine as well. The 2 founders, Jelle and Siep, the 2 brothers, just donated $200. Big up, let's get it, legend, absolute legends, guys. Appreciate you guys loads, as you guys know. Had a lovely coffee with them yesterday. Thank you so much for your $200 donation, guys. Almost at $3,000 raised for charity. Legends, once more, thank you, and I speak to you guys soon. So sorry, Ahmed. Please continue.
No problem. So I was saying that it's only negative 1.5%. It's not a big deal. I can make it back. I had the previous month, I ended at +20R for VIP. and publicly as well, it was more than that. But that's not a problem because people are going to focus on the negatives. There's been a lot of people that I'm talking about my negative performance this month,
Mm-hmm.
but that's okay. I never really cared, and I'm going to make it back. It's not
It's
a
part
big
of the
deal. I
game,
just need to take a
and part
break.
of the
Yeah.
yeah, it's part of the game and part of the probabilities. I remember, like last year, I think I had 3 losing months, and I gained with my public calls 100 R on my account, just little less, 97 R. But I had 3 losing months out of 12, and still I gained that much. But people can't comprehend that your winners exceed your losing trades, you know. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, losing streaks, losing weeks, losing days, losing months, as long as you don't have a 100% win rate, and most people, most profitable traders I know have a win rate of 50 to 70%,
Yeah, same here.
losing weeks, months are going to be part of the game. It's just a fact. It's just due to the probabilities of a trading system, you know?
Yeah, I do not blame the people because even as a beginner, when I first joined Twitter,
Mm,
I was on the lookout for good accounts that
yeah,
would provide me good analysis, good signals that I could copy and obviously make money as a beginner.
yeah,
So I don't blame people when they talk about that I am going on a losing streak, and do see those messages, I do see those tweets tagged in me, but I don't really care. I'm just doing my own thing because one way or the other, if they stick out in this industry for the longer period, they are going to learn that this is part of the process and there's nothing you can do to force someone to be profitable all the time. It's not
yeah,
one way or the other, you're going to go through that phase even if you have years of experience.
exactly. Um, let's see. There's a question. Beam, how do you select slash screening coin for your spot trade?
Okay, so there's plenty of methods. One of the latest ones was the one I tweeted with. I think the website name was cryptorank.io, something like
Mm,
that. There you can go filter coins, and you can select the filter to set it at yearly open, so it's going to filter out coins that are near the yearly open. So you can plan out your trades, how you're going to take the yearly open, either the yearly open retest or either the yearly open breakout flip, because the
mm-hmm.
yearly open is a huge level. A retest, a bullish retest, bearish retest, whatever it is for your directional bias, you can plan a setup around it. Otherwise, it's the simple method, coin market cap. I just go to coin market cap, because for spot you can only long. So for only long, you need coins that have either bottomed, the
Mm-hmm.
huge support of bottom, or that are performing well in comparison to the rest of the markets. For a red daily market, if there's a green coin, that is the one you need to be trading for either continuation. So just go to coin market cap and filter it by 24-hour top gainers, and then look at the top 10, look at the top 20. Filter out the shitcoins. I do not personally trade shitcoins, neither do I recommend them. But everything else, just do the technical analysis, prepare your charts. My watch list is always really small, as you can see on the
Yeah,
side. My watch list is never huge. Everyone has this huge watch list. I only have the coins that have the best bias, the best charts I can make on them.
yeah,
That is the only ones that I track. And once if I lose a trade or if I win a trade, once that is done, I just delete it from my watch list. I
yeah.
don't see that again.
Yeah, same. I have quite a big watch list, but it's also due to my investment positions also being on the watch list. But I only trade like 5-6 coins in total, and then mainly try to stick to Bitcoin and Ethereum for intraday trading. And then I just have a select few of altcoins that I know I can swing trade, you know, and that my system performs
Yeah.
well on. So yeah, someone is also asking. I think I know the reason, but someone is asking why you trade spot only and no futures or leverage.
The reason was religion, because for
Mm,
Muslims, leverage, interest rates, all of these things are not permissible. So it was a personal decision. Not everyone does that, and I do not even expect anyone to follow what I did. But for those that want to be on the more religious side, then they have to do that. And when I came across this thing, that such a thing is there and it's prohibited, and I decided that yeah, it's better to not do it because it's not worth it.
yeah. Okay. And how do you feel about not being able to short the market in that sense?
Okay, so for when this thing happened, when I quit futures, the problem was that I had tons, more than 500 VIPs that were lifetime in Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So that meant that I could no longer short, but those people I still had to provide them a monthly setups that would gain
Mm-hmm.
a result of 10 RR. So that was decided that I would still post short setups. I would still give out short calls like this. I have
Mm-hmm.
hype ready on the server, but I would not personally take them.
Mm.
So all these short setups go to them. This keeps me in practice with the market as well. But personally, these trades are not taken. Over the past month, I had a collaboration with Breakout. So I've been using the platform as well. I bought a 100k account. It's at about 105.6k something
Mm-hmm.
right now, up 5R. So I am shorting on that account, but that's just for PR. It's not for
Yeah.
personal gains.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Let's see. Someone is also asking how you would scale a small account up to a big account.
How
Interesting
small?
question. Let's say someone starts with obviously small is relative, but let's say it's a $1,000 account. How would you try to scale that to $100,000?
Okay, so up until now, even towards the recent times, I was not really aware of prop firms. I knew they existed, but I never really cared about them.
Mm-hmm.
But my honest advice would be that if you are at less than 5k, go to funded accounts, because with your own, for example, you have a 1k account, you're 1%, you're not going to risk 1%. I know people don't risk 1%, they risk at least 5% on smaller accounts. So you're going to lose $50 per trade. You take one trade on your own account, you lose 50, that 50 is gone. For the same 50, I think you could get a 25k account on a prop firm. And if you have a negative 6% margin on that, so that's like negative 6R overall drawdown. So you, first of all, you have 6 times more a drawdown on a funded account. Second, you have the practice perspective. You could practice for a longer time over there, sharpen your skills. And third, once you secure the bigger account, you have potential for bigger payouts. So for smaller portfolios, my advice would be go towards funded accounts.
And how do you feel about all the rules that come with funded? Because trading on itself is hard enough already, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if especially if you're a beginning trader and there's so many rules that come with funded accounts, like, and then let's say you get to a payout, and you are a very profitable trader with prop firms. Most prop firms just ban their most profitable traders as well, or
Mm-hmm.
restrict them, which is also a thing. How do you view that with prop firms? I
So
see
I
the I see
have.
the perspective, right? When you have small capital,
Mm-hmm.
to first of all, it's very tempting to use prop firms. I think it's an extremely good business model. Like, I 100% get it if people start it as a business, because it's a very good model. But from a perspective of recommending it to traders, I think
Mm-hmm.
there's exceptions.
Yeah, there's always exceptions.
Yeah, but there's the majority of the people that find trading on itself hard enough already have a lot of like struggle to even be profitable on their personal accounts. Let's say they take every trade with correct risk management, so 1% of risk on each trade. They already have
Mm-hmm.
a hard time to be profitable. And then with proffers, there's so many rules. You can't hedge, you can't this, you can't that. Psychology of trading with bigger money,
Mm-hmm.
like how do you view that? And then I'm more talking about the beginning stage of traders, not the people that have a proven track record and are proven to be profitable for 1 or 2 years already in a row and then still have small capital. But I'm talking about the beginning traders.
Okay, so when I first joined this space, and it was like past the first year, when I first came across prop firms, the first one I came across was FTMO. Phase one, I passed it in a single trade on SPX. Phase two took me about 2 to 3 weeks to pass. And on a live account, I got a payout. I still have the certificate in my
Mm-hmm.
older email. So I did get the payout. The rules, I knew the rules existed, but overcoming those rules was very simple, because the prop firm to prop firm, the rules actually vary. There are prop firms that have hidden rules as well. There's a lot of prop firms,
Mm-hmm.
but each prop firm, if you dig deeper, you will know which one is better for you. So, for example, if I talk about Breakout, it has in the one-step evaluation, it has a maximum drawdown of 6%, that is 6R, and a daily drawdown of 4%, that is 4R. So, as a beginner trader, if you have your risk management down, if even if you're not trading on your personal portfolio, negative 4R for a day is more than enough. At most cases, even if the market is extremely nuking and all your stops are getting hit, you should not be losing more than 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
even on your own personal account. And negative 6% overall is the factor that decides whether you're actually ready to be even. So, like, if you hit the negative 6%, it just shows that you're not ready to be trading on your own capital. You do not have the skill set yet, because going in a negative 6% drawdown with complete risk management means that you lost 6 hours, negative 6 hours. That also in a straight line, because if you do not lose it in a straight line, there's going to be periods of going down, there's going to be periods of going up. But if you go in a straight line towards loss, that's straight away negative 6 hours. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to ask yourself, is negative 6 hours huge, or is negative 6 hours something supposed to be normal for me? For me
Mm-hmm.
personally, negative 6 hours is going to be devastating. I go on a losing streak, I lose 2 hours, I'm just done. I'm not looking at charts for another 2 to 3 days. And for the hidden rules, there's many for each prop firm, but breakout I've personally used, I haven't came across anything that has caught my eye that would be in the breaking the rules category. It has a fixed leverage thing that you cannot adjust your leverage, but once you are managing your risk, placing your setups like this, you have your stop value, you are calculating your position size, you do not even need to look at how much leverage you need to open that position. You just
Mm-hmm.
need your position size. So, and even in that case, if you're not profitable, let's say you have blown away 10 accounts on your prop firm and you bought 10 times 25k accounts, you bought it each for 50, and you blew 10 accounts. Your initial capital for a person was $1,000. You blew 50% of that on trading prop firms. But those 10 challenges that you blew with proper management, with proper trading models, is going to teach you more than what you would learn blowing 50% of your own capital on your own account, if it was not a prop firm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's always arguments to be made for both parties. It's
Yeah.
just so many people struggle so hard with trading, you know,
Hmm.
to turn it into something professional, sustainable, and to build even, you know, a track record for themselves first. And I think,
Yeah.
let's say you have a proven track record and then you have a proven strategy for 1 or 2 years, and you are still low on capital, then it could be an idea to maybe run prop firms simultaneously with your personal capital, you know, to compound it, to
Yes.
make it grow quicker, as long as you stick to the same risk. But I think what a lot of people do is that before they have the track record or anything in that sense, they already start using prop firms because they see it as something that can make them grow their capital quickly. But I
Yeah.
think
That's
it's just in general, probably 1% of the people that start with trading turn into profitable traders. But then the people that start using prop firms and turn prop firms into something profitable is probably again 1%, you know,
yeah.
of that 1%, which is crazy. Um,
It, it's no doubt that prop firms is a huge business model, and their primary target are the people that do not have capital and they want more capital. And
mhm.
in the process, they earn from the evaluation fees.
Yeah,
It's like the first page of the book in their business. But this comes down to everything with everybody in every industry. There's going to be the good side, there's going to be the bad side. It just depends on how you take advantage of it.
yeah, yeah. True. That's very true. All right, let's see if there's
Oh,
some other questions.
BTC is nuking.
Yeah, it's nuking. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Someone is asking if you can maybe give a sample, like a step-by-step analysis of an altcoin, how you would now maybe get to a potential trading idea on a specific altcoin.
Okay, so I think I have my screen share on, right?
Yeah, yeah. Your screen share is also live on the stream.
Coin market cap is visible, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm sharing. Okay, so it's just 24 hours. The first thing you have it is bit. Go bit. And just start doing the technical analysis. I think this is a H12 supply over here. Got the rejection. Imbalance all the way down.
You're using the volume profile to determine if enough orders were coming into the market at the demand area, correct?
No, it's a different method. So this is the 4-hour block.
Mm-hmm.
So the hour block is extremely large. This coin
Yeah.
has moved exponentially. So this hour block is about 10%.
Mm-hmm.
And when such an event occurs, there's also another block over there. I use the NPOC to identify where I can go for a sniper entry.
Uh-huh.
So that reduces the range where I would potentially
Yeah.
need to DCA or get front run.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, so we identified the HDF SR flip, HDF SR flip on the support side, on the resistance side. Here's a market structure break with supply, small supply formed over here, double top, high swept, liquidity swept over here, market structure break in this area, market structure break in this area. Now we have market structure break potentially pending over here, could even bounce, depends on BTC. But the key interesting point over here is these EQ lows. EQ lows, and we are going for a sweep of those EQ lows into the 4-hour order block using the NPOC as the entry point. So we get a sniper entry, stops below the order block, because inside the H4 order block you have an LTF order block over there as well. I think it's either going to be 30 or 45 minutes, and then you just place your stop below that. You target the market structure break again over here. That's about a 2.8-hour setup. That's how it goes. Yeah, I do that, but that's only for macro. I would only make updates in a few months on BTC dominance. My last update was, I think, this chart has to load first. It was about, okay, the last update on Twitter was 57.21% as bottom, and from there it goes back towards 65.78%.
You think 65% is possible again for dominance?
Yes, I'm just taking in consideration with this entire uptrend, high-low structure, as well as the part where altcoins do not gain any of that altcoin season advantage. I think chat is saying you're muted.
Yeah, I'm muted now.
Okay, so it depends on this 51% level, whether this level holds or whether this level breaks. It's all dependent on that. But personally, yes, all the way from over here to here, I have been bullish on BTC dominance, with BTC being the market leader instead of altcoins, and that is going to be the same for the next year as well.
Yeah, it is basically trading back inside of the previous range where it was trading in 2019, 2021. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it could I could definitely see. I for sure also foresee a bounce, at least short term, maybe even midterm. Yeah,
this is extremely macro, so it's going, even it could take a year to play out.
Yeah.
So I do not personally go into lower than weekly on dominance to form a bias, because I'm rarely trading altcoins in the first place. The only time I'm trading is when I have to post it in the server for people so that they could get their monthly targets. help them a little bit. Personally, I'm just into these two things
Yeah.
now on.
Yeah, intraday trading, I also stick to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Also, see very little reason why you would want to intraday trade altcoins.
Yeah,
There's just a lack of data in every candle that you are trading because there's a lack of volume. And at the end of the day, Bitcoin and Ethereum are market leaders anyways, and they're market leaders for a
correct.
reason. So I see,
Correct.
unless there's a narrative which you can always profit from by swing trading it, intraday trading altcoins is, in my opinion, especially as a beginning trader or let's say intermediate trader, one of the stupidest things you can do. If you can't be profitable with your system on Bitcoin and Ethereum, there would be zero reason why your system would work on an altcoin.
Yeah, it was much better back in the years in 2021 and 2022, but now it's just you look at an altcoin, it's at support. You look at BTC, it's nowhere near support. You say,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna still long this. BTC move towards the support. The altcoin is at stop loss.
Yeah.
That stop loss is actually the invalidation. But since BTC bounced from the support, your stop loss became your own liquidity. It becomes
Exactly.
really tough to trade altcoins.
Yeah, exactly. I quickly posted your Twitter in the chat. Someone was asking for it. A couple of guys were asking
Thank
for
you.
it actually. Cool. Let's see if there's any other questions. Also an interesting question, and very curious to hear your answer on this question. Is it possible to get a 10x in 6 months with proper risk management? So let's say like 1 to 2% per position.
1 to 2%? No way.
No, impossible.
You have to be an ultra category hedge fund kind of trader to be
Yeah.
able to do that. 1 to 2%, no. You have to, it's like general opinion, you have to bump up your risk if you want to bump up your account, especially when you're talking about 10x.
Yeah. And should it also be a goal to 10x your account in 6 months? Probably
Yeah,
should.
it's a good challenge.
Yeah,
I've done this myself for practice. Even if you're not able to complete it, but when you set your mind towards it that I want to do this, you just start doing things much better. You start looking at charts better, you start managing your risk better, everything starts to work out while you are locked in.
Yeah, but not if it's your main portfolio, correct?
No way. I would never do it on my main portfolio. Whenever I was doing such challenge, I would just set apart a portion that I was comfortable to lose.
Exactly. Yeah, then it could be good practice potentially, like
yes.
you said, because you're only going to take the high probability setups, considering the fact that you're going to risk so much. But
yes.
If you want to build a sustainable portfolio, 10x in 6 months is not a target that you want to have. You just want to target slow and steady gains and compound those gains over a longer period of time. And how you want to compound them is up to you.
Yeah. You have to realize that in 6 months, you are even lucky to even 2x your account. That's the harsh reality.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let me see in the chat, because at the beginning there were a lot of people commenting. I think that's it for the questions. What do you think is next from here for Ethereum to end off the stream?
Ethereum. Okay, I have the chart open. I have only 2 lines on this. One is this really cute looking SR range breakout flip, and just below is the order block. I have my orders placed in this entire weekly order block.
Okay.
This one here.
Yeah.
Very simple analysis on ETH. I'm not looking at the LTFs for this because I want to take this trade from here all the way towards 5.3k.
Yeah. So once again, sweeping that inducement back into the demand, holding the demand, and then targeting higher levels.
Yes. On LTF, I had this shot when it got filled at closer break even before sleeping. Dumb decision as usual. But it's playing out. This is going to be a bounce place now if it just continues like falling this way here. There's demand support over here as well, but I'm not looking to trade this because again I've been on a losing streak. I'm just minimizing the trades that I take.
Cool, sick. And when you get the big demand once again like this on Ethereum on the weekly, are once again using the naked point of control to refine your entry?
So this one is not going to be a day trade kind of setup. It's going to be accumulation. So with BTC and ETH, as I post on Twitter, I make huge accumulations, and that is with most of what I have collected in staples over the years.
Okay.
It's like all in trades. I just go identify the, for example, the order block, first entry, second entry, third entry, as well as the invalidation. The
Yeah.
third entry, start accepting below this, it's invalid.
Then you close it manually.
Yeah. So average entry would be somewhere in this place, and from there to here, I have this loss structure, and from here to here, I have this gain structure. So the accumulation trades are at least between 3 to 4 hour return on investment.
Yeah. Yeah, I use DCA entries myself as well. I don't see many people use them, but it's actually a super effective way also to manage your risk, you know? Many
Yes.
people really underestimate the power of dollar cost averaging and how you can use that with your leverage trades to actually manage your risk rather than increase your risk. If you
Yes,
place them at the right levels and you get, even if it's a dead cat bounce, right? You can close half of your position and maybe at break even or in tiny profit because you had the DCA entry. A lot of people really underestimate the power of those.
Correct. One more thing I wanted to say is that based on the last 3 to 4 months data from my own journaling, where I have been looking at why my trades are getting stopped, one thing I came to identify is that the usual order block sustainable school of thought, where you just limit the start of the order block, place your stop below the order block, has a lower probability in these few months for some reason. I don't know if it's the algo or is the concept more retail driven nowadays with supply and demand, but every time within a supply and demand, there's just below where your stop loss is supposed to be placed, there is an interest of supply and demand zone area like this one. So I'm just personally, I'm also working on myself on how I'm supposed to counter differentiate between these two areas.
Yeah.
Because with current method, what happens is that first entry here, second entry in the middle, third is invalidation, gets stopped out. Right below that, the second stage starts to open. I want to minimize this. I want to go in a system of trading model where my invalidation, instead of ending over here, ends much higher. I'm taking a much lesser loss in my accumulative trades, and then I have a much better plan and time to accumulate the next area of interest. I'm personally working on this and backtesting on how I'm supposed to be going through this, because most of my losing trades have been this sort of structure. This is weekly, but even on the 4-hour, 1-hour, this has happened a lot with me this month and the previous month as well. Just working on that.
Sick. Nice, man. Love to hear that. We always gotta keep improving no matter how profitable you are, because the markets are evolving. So should we as profitable traders, I believe. And I think the moment you stop trying to improve and refine your edge and system is probably the moment where you will lose your edge on the market, you know, relatively soon. So
Correct.
yeah, I like that. And also that is very, very underrated. And it's very natural that once you are profitable and making a lot of money, that you want to lay down and relax, you know, but you got to stay on top of the game with trading, because yeah, really,
Correct.
especially with crypto last year, like the way that markets have evolved. I'll quickly share my screen as well. What you can see, for example, I'll share my screen with you and I'll show you some statistics and data. Let's say I go to the daily time statistics.
Oh, I've seen you do this. It comes on my timeline, but I never really understood. There's so much data. Personally, I was really bad at math in school as well as college as well as university. So I never really understand these things.
What the platform does is actually quantifying the data into actionable statistics over here at the bottom right. So you don't have to calculate anything yourself anymore. But the founder and the developer has found a way to quantify the data based on timing of highs and lows of price, pivots, I must say actually, and based on the distance made from the extremes of candles. And he has quantified the data based on time and distance into actionable statistics. But just to make my point, for example, let's say we take the last 6 years of data on the timing of the extremes of the daily candles on Bitcoin. In that case, I'll give it a second to load. You can see that these are the statistics, right? So a lot of the first pivots for the daily candles get formed over here in this time period, but also a lot of the first pivots get formed in this time period over here. If you then take the last 6 months of data, you can
would
see
be pivot?
So let's say this is your daily open on Bitcoin, and this is your daily close, and it's for whatever candle, right? The pivot. You have P1 and P2, and let's say this is the opening price, and let's say you first form the low and then the high of the candle. This is P1 and this is P2, because the low got formed first and the high got formed second. If you first form the high and then the low of the candle, the high is P1 and the low is P2. Why? Because the high got formed first and the low got formed second. You see? Now by doing this, instead of taking data on just random highs and lows of candles, but instead take data on first and second pivot of candles, you get a lot more actionable data and statistics. So where,
nice.
Let's say, right now the daily high has a 7.1% probability to get taken out before the end of the day, so aka 93% probability to hold the daily high, the P1. Let's say you would just take daily high and daily low instead of daily P1 and daily P2. Instead of getting a very actionable data of 92.9%, you would then have a probability of 80%, for example, for the daily high to hold, which is a lot less actionable, because you are taking, that's what a lot of people do, right? Open, low, high, close. But instead, what you should be doing to get actionable statistics is use open, P1, P2 close. That makes the statistics a lot more actionable. So instead of getting statistics and probabilities of 90%, if you would use highs and lows instead of pivots, you would get 80% probabilities. And that's obviously giving you a lot less of an edge compared to 90%. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I'm sitting in my final exam for math in my college.
Trust
and
me,
I
it's not. I am very bad at maths, actually, as well. And I'm not a data scientist at all. But it's relatively simple, you know. For example, in this candle, right now, this is P1 and this is P2, right? But let's say before the candle closes, you take out the low, then this becomes your P2.
Yeah, I understood that.
This is your P1. The P1, P2 concept is super simple. You just have candles, and on the platform, they offer data on monthly candles, weekly candles, daily candles, session candles, 4-hour candles, hourly candles. For example, when I go to the weekly candles on Bitcoin and take the last 2 years of data, for example.
So that's how you mark out your highs and lows and then incorporate that with buy side and sell side liquidity.
Exactly. So right now, for example, on the weekly candle on Bitcoin, we can see that based on historical data, 0% of weeks would take out the weekly high from here. So if this is your weekly candle, 0% of weeks based on the timing of the high and low of the candle. So this is the weekly open and this is the weekly close. Based on the time where we put in the high of the week and the low of the week, 0% of weeks would do this. You know, the last 2 years before the weekly candle closes. And we can see, and we can see that 53.4% of weeks will form a new P2 after Friday 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So currently it's Friday 2 o'clock and we put in a new low, but 53% of weekly candles will form a new second pivot after that time. But a new second pivot could also mean a new high, of course, like I just explained. But considering the fact that the high has such a high probability to hold, we can assume that there's a 53% probability before the weekly candle closes that Bitcoin will make new weekly lows, meaning that it doesn't make any sense now, as per my analysis and the way that I interpret the data, to look for longs right now over here, because there's such a high probability still to go lower. You know, it makes a lot more sense maybe to look lower for entries. I use this to filter low probability trades for myself mainly, but also to refine my entry points and take profit targets. Same, let's say you were short right now. If these are the probabilities, and let's say you accumulated a short over here, it makes, this is a very great example of course, but let's say you accumulated a short over here, it makes sense to still hold at least a partial of the position, because time says that before the weekly candle closes, there's still a 53% probability to make new weekly lows. So then you can maybe close it up on a sweep over here and increase your RR that way towards like 3.73 R instead of closing it here for 3.35 R. You see?
Yeah, I understand it now.
So it's that is based on time, and we also have it based on distance. So the distance made from weekly highs towards weekly lows. This should be, I don't know why it's not loading actually. So you can see, for example, based on the last 2 years, but there's too little data points for Bitcoin. Let's say we take the last 3 years of weekly data on Bitcoin. I don't know why it's this weird. It's a bit slow actually. Anyways, right now you can see that 96.4% of weeks moved further than negative 4.8%. I actually think I have to reload the dashboard for some reason. But we can see, okay, let's take the last 4 years, because I need 30 data points is very little, you know? Then the statistics are not that reliable. I don't know if you understand that, but it's very important to use enough data points. I don't know why. It looks like the distance page is just...
No problem. I understood what the distance means.
So you can, oh yeah, you can see it here. Still, not enough data points used. It's very weird. Anyways, if the distance page over here now also says that 94.7% of weekly candles move further than negative 4.8, it means that there's still a lot of room left for more displacement for price, you know? So it means that at the same time, the weekly high will likely hold, and there's such a high probability to make a bigger displacement. Once again, a lot of energy left for price to potentially move to lower levels. So it doesn't make sense yet to already take profit on your position. At least wait maybe for one more leg to the downside and take profit over here, because price is likely going to make more distance before this weekly candle over here is going to close. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But maybe I can text you about this platform after the after the stream. I will text you about it. Anyways, right now, my friend, I want to thank you for tuning in with me. I really appreciate you taking the time and taking the effort to tune in with me, more than you know. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it yourself as well. Yeah,
I did.
Perfect.
I'm going to try and donate to the stream if my card works.
No worries at all.
My card goes through.
You don't have to, my friend. Obviously, it would be much appreciated for the charity, but there's no need to donate at all. Already means a lot that you were coming onto the stream. Really appreciate that.
Let's leave something for the future to look back at. Let's pray the card goes through 1 minute.
No worries.
You can take some more chat questions in the meantime.
Yeah, I will see if there's any other questions.